How to be successful during mediation and settling with your insurance company. Coming up. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ernesto from Attaboy Cowboy, and on this channel we give you health and wealth tips to help you be more successful. Now recently we were involved in a mediation to settle a lawsuit with a plaintiff, someone suing us, and an insurance company. And I want to share with you some of the experiences we had here because I think this is valuable information for folks that are in that type of situation. So number one is, let's say you have umbrella insurance or you have some type of insurance that covers you. Your insurance is going to pay for your attorney to defend you against the person suing you. So you're going to have some legal representation. They're going to cover the costs for the most part. Now, they're going to send you a letter. They're going to say, hey, you have the right if you want to hire your own attorney. And they're going to offer some really low amount. Like in this case, I think ours was offering like $150, and most of the attorneys around offer like $300 to $400 an hour is what they charge, up more. I found some that were charging like $600 or $700 per hour. Now, you're gonna look at that and you're gonna say, well, wow, I can't even get an attorney then for $150. And you're gonna call them, you're gonna call around, and a lot of the attorneys are gonna say, I can't take that, it's a joke. You're gonna have to pitch in the rest. And that's where you're gonna get stuck. I actually talked to some, I used the Daily Journal to look up some good attorneys. And remember, just because they're high ranked doesn't mean they're honest or they're very scrupulous. Attorneys, a lot of them are out to get you and get as much of you out, get as much money off of you as they can. So this guy I talked to was telling me that he was gonna represent me for 3 days just to give me advice. He wanted me to give him like 20 grand. And I looked at the hours he was gonna be helping me. He was basically gonna be helping me for about 5 hours. So I was gonna be paying him like $4,000 an hour. So I asked him, what's your hourly rate? He said $553. I don't know how he came up with the 53, but he charged $553. He was a good attorney. He was high ranked, but that's a ripoff. I already have an attorney, so I didn't really need him. I just needed what they call cumis counsel. It's spelled C-U-M-I-S. It's kind of like an attorney that comes in to help. So I called around. I found another guy with like 40 years experience. He was a USC grad, just a total stud. He accepted the money from the insurance company. It was like $150. And I don't know exactly what they do, but I imagine the attorneys, they're not suckers. They know that's a low number. They probably just add a few extra hours on and pad it so that they can get whatever it is they charge. That's just my guess, but this guy seemed like it was a killer deal. And I ended up finding several attorneys that would accept that low fee that the insurance company was offering. And the reason why you want to get cumis counsel is this. I used to think, well, hey, the insurance company obviously wants to win because they have a $3 or $4 or $5 million umbrella coverage for me, right? And I thought, so of course they want to win. But that's not exactly true. They do want to win, but they're going to make you pitch in for it. So you want to make sure that you have someone kind of watching your back. That attorney is representing you and the insurance company, so 50-50. So what I found is when I went to mediation with that attorney that the insurance company hired, they weren't commenting on any of the settlement stuff. They weren't saying how much I should pitch in or how much I shouldn't. They kind of left me on my own. And I was kind of like lost, like, wow, what do I do? How much do I pay? Let's say someone wanted $100,000. And I had, 500,000 coverage, let's say. I figured, well, the insurance company should cover it. That's not the way it works. They're gonna come to you, they're gonna say, hey, you know what? We don't think we're liable. We should cover you. We want you to pay 90 grand and we'll pay 10 grand. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought I had 500,000. Yeah, but all the merits of your case are not covered because part of it's illegal. And what happens is when people sue you, there's this trick attorneys do. Let's say you get in a car accident, right? And you got hurt. And then, okay, so that should be cut and dry. You have liability insurance, but sometimes the other attorneys will throw other things on there. They'll say, oh, you were racist towards that person, or you were sexist or ageist, or you were like, negligent because you didn't do these other things. You didn't call 911 afterwards, the person on the floor dying or something. It can happen in any type of lawsuit. They'll find and they'll make up a lot of things that are not true, and they really are made up. In our case, one of the persons said that they got moved out of their house and that they had a cat, and the cat got stressed out, and the cat being stressed that person out. So then they had to go to the psychiatrist and get psychiatric therapy. Well, it turns out that person already had a long history of mental problems. It had nothing to do with us. And the cat getting stressed, well, how would you know? What are you gonna do, ask the cat? But those are the types of things people are suing for. So you wanna make sure that you have someone to back you up. So always take the offer to hire an attorney. Get Kumis counsel. They come on, they work specifically for you to defend you, and they kind of work on the case also. And they can advise you on what you should pay or shouldn't pay in these cases, and they'll kind of look out for you. So I strongly recommend you get Kumis counsel on these cases. Don't rely on just the insurance company's attorney. That's a huge mistake that we've made in the past. We're not going to do that anymore. Now, the other thing is that when you go through the process of mediation and negotiation, we spend sometimes up to 6 hours a day talking to attorneys for the insurance company, the attorney that is representing you and the insurance company, the insurance adjuster. You're gonna have all these people calling you. Like I said, sometimes up to 6 hours a day talking to them. Those are a pretty big case. So, you're not an attorney, I'm not an attorney. You wanna make sure you make the right decisions. A Kumis counsel can help you in all that. And just a couple tips. Remember, don't worry. I know it's easy to say. If someone's suing, you're gonna get nervous and you're gonna not be able to sleep at night and all this stuff. And over the years, it's just become easier and easier to not worry. But let me tell you why you don't wanna worry. When you worry a lot and you call your attorney, you call your insurance company, call your insurance agent, you call the insurance adjuster, and you're on the phone, they know that you're stressing. So they kind of take advantage of that. And what they do is they say, okay, this person wants 100 grand. Well, you're gonna pay 90 grand. You're gonna pay 95 grand. Because they see that you're stressed and they know that they have power over you to get you to pitch in, because you just want the whole thing to end. Because they're gonna scare you. They're gonna tell you, hey, you know what? If we go to trial, you could lose. And we don't cover all this illegal stuff that never happened, like the discrimination or the cat getting sick or whatever. That stuff never happened, but obviously it's not covered on your insurance policy because it's considered illegal. They covered things that are like accidental, like you crash or you slip and fall, or someone slips and falls on the ladder of your house or something like that. Incidental things. But they don't cover things that are like premeditated. Like if you go get a shotgun and you shoot someone, they're not gonna cover for that because you committed murder. That's illegal. You go beat somebody up, no. You discriminate against someone because of their sex or their race or whatever, that's not covered, that's illegal. So they get to step away and then you're on your own. You have to cover the liability for all that. So they're gonna tell you your own insurance and your own attorneys are gonna play that up to scare you even more. They're gonna say, yeah, we got this guy. They're gonna all coordinate against you. Believe me, they have meetings, they talk about you, they talk about how you're reacting, how the conversations are with you. They take notes on every conversation with you and they share it with the insurance company's attorney, your attorney, the adjuster, the insurance company. They all are working together as they should. It's their business. And when they know you're stressing, that just gives them a lot more negotiating power over you. And you're gonna be stressed. You're gonna say, you know what? I want this to end. I'm gonna negotiate. I'm gonna pitch in. You're gonna pay 80, 70, 60, whatever, 20 grand. When really you could have got away with paying zero. The way you get away with paying zero is don't call them. Just act like you don't care. When you call them, just listen, don't talk. They're gonna ask you questions, you can talk. They wanna get a feel for you. Don't give them any ammunition, just listen to them. Just say, hey, you know what? I don't think I did anything wrong. That's what we did in our case, because we really didn't do anything wrong. But I didn't stress about it. I actually just wouldn't even think about it. And they get nervous. When you worry, your attorney doesn't worry. They're happy. When you don't worry, you worry the attorney, because then they have to pick up more of the load for you. See what I mean? So you want to make it easier, make the attorney do the work, make them do the negotiation, make them take on that stress. Don't take it on yourself. Let them go out there and argue and negotiate or whatever. And, they kept calling and saying, but yeah, all these illegal things. Oh, well, what illegal things? There aren't any illegal things. Yeah, but they're saying that, you were, discriminating against cats or whatever the case was. And I'm like, no, I never did that. And that's it. I didn't go into any explanations. Don't explain. Just say, no, that never happened. That's fake. And that's it. And then the more confident you sound, the more they're going to feel like, wow, we better just like pony up, pay for this case, let's settle it. Then they're going to start coming down. Hey, instead of 90, why don't you pay 50,000? We'll pay 50. You'll say, no, I don't agree with that. And then there's another strategy. Insurance companies are doing this now because of a case called Blue Ridge. Remember, there's laws, but also there's court cases. And when you go to court, a lot of court cases are determined on previous court cases. So like if, for example, we'll use gay marriage as an example. If some courts said no gay marriage, then there wouldn't be gay marriage. But as times change, some of the courts might say, you know what, gay marriage seems like an okay thing, we're gonna allow it. So then it keeps going up and up and up, and more courts are looking at that as examples and say, okay, gay marriage is cool, we're gonna allow it. Now it went to the Supreme Court, now it's legal in the United States. That's how it starts. So Blue Ridge is a case where some guy that had like umbrella insurance was getting sued, and I guess he did some stuff that was not right. I don't even know all the details of the case. But basically the insurance paid the suit for him, let's say $1 million. Then they turned around and sued him, the insured. Now that's not good, right? You don't want to get sued by your insurance company. But sometimes when you look at it strategically, it's like playing chess. It might be your best option. Now, in the particular case that we were helping out in, we were helping one of our clients. This person was getting sued. They didn't do anything wrong, but some of the stuff is hard to disprove because it never happened. So there's no evidence for or against it. So sometimes that can work against you. Because remember, when you're getting sued, you have to pay to defend yourself. So you're assuming all these costs, but the person suing you is not paying anything. Their attorney is basically working pro bono. They're working just to get a percentage of whatever settlement they get. So for them, it's a win-win, okay? But for you, the person getting sued, you have to flip out all these costs. That's why it's good to have umbrella insurance to make sure that you have something to cover those legal fees, okay? So they come in, they're suing our client for, I don't know, like $3 million or something. And then they ended up going to negotiation. They went to mediation, which we'll talk about in a minute. And they couldn't come to an agreement. The insurance company would only pay like $100,000. And I think the other party said they would pay like $2.5 million. That was the least they would accept. That was totally irrational. They're not gonna get that much, and they know that, but they want bargaining power. So then it goes to the attorney, or the judge, I should say. Usually when you go to mediation, it's you in one room, the other party in another room, and there's a judge, like a retired judge, that goes between the two rooms and tries to work out a settlement. Sometimes they work out the settlement in the same day. Sometimes they do it over the next few weeks. But right now, a lot of times they're doing it over Zoom because of COVID. So that's an effective way also. So they'll go back and forth in the Zoom rooms. Now, in this particular case, they couldn't reach an agreement. They were miles apart. The insurance said $100,000. The plaintiff wanted $2.5 million. They left it at that. It ended, but the judge kept working on the case back and forth, talking to both of the attorneys. And they tell the attorneys, give me like a paper that basically summarizes the strengths of your case. Give it to me in 3 days or something. The judge looks at it and weighs the merits of both cases, says, you know what? I think this case is worth $300,000. So usually he'll get kind of a consensus from both sides of what the minimum was, or the most they would pay, or the minimum they would take to win, to settle the case, and they'll come up with a number in the middle. They'll say, okay, $300,000 and they'll give both parties a deadline, like a week or 2 weeks or 30 days or whatever. You guys have to decide if you'll accept this. Usually if they offer that to you, that usually means the plaintiff is in agreement with it. Somehow they negotiated privately with the judge and they came up with that number, 300,000. It got presented to our client. Client was asking me, dude, do we pay this 300,000? What do we do? I told him, well, they didn't have Kuma's counsel. They only had the regular attorney. So that attorney couldn't give them any advice. And they were trying to get Kuma's counsel. It was a little late in the game, so too late. So that's why you want to get Kuma's counsel from the beginning. Get your own attorney to help you with the case and have the insurance company pay for it. Now, what I suggested is this, and this has generally worked out well for other clients, is that if you go to court with this person suing you for $3 million, you could lose. If they get treble where they triple it, it could be worth $9 million. Now, that's very unlikely, but it's a possibility. Now, if you just go to court, or if you just say, you know what, insurance company, I'm not gonna pay anything. I'm gonna pay zero because I feel like I did nothing. The insurance company will pay the 300,000, which they did, but then they're gonna send you a letter. It's gonna say, okay, you have 3 options. You can take the case over yourself if you don't agree with it. And you can pay all your legal fees, which obviously you don't wanna do, especially if you have insurance. You want them to pay for it. 2, you can pay 50-50 with us, 150, 150, and we're done, it's over. Or we'll pay the 300, but we're gonna reserve the right to sue you, the insured, for that 300,000 later. I suggested he let the insurance pay the 300 and let them try to sue him for it, because that is better than facing 9 million. You face 9 million with the person suing you, or you face being sued by the insurance for 300. And why is that a better option? Well, think about when you go to court and there's a jury, okay? You know, when you're against another person, they could side with either side, you don't know. But when you're against an insurance company always has a disadvantage, huge disadvantage. Nobody likes insurance companies. A lot of times people get in car accidents and they get screwed around. They don't get paid for the accidents or whatever it is that happened. So most people are not gonna say like, oh, I'm gonna side with the insurance company over this guy. No, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna say, wait a minute, this person was paying for this umbrella insurance for, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, and now they actually have to pay out something and they're gonna sue the person for using the service? That doesn't sound right. Isn't that why they pay for it every month? So in my opinion, that just doesn't sound like a very good strategy. But I think the best way to do it, like I said, is just to let the insurance pay and let them come after you. And then their suit is gonna be limited, like I said, to 300. They're not gonna be suing you for 9 million. And then a lot of times when the insurance company is suing you, then you can countersue them. I've been involved with other clients that countersued the insurance company, said, you know what, insurance company, you didn't represent me right in this case. That's why I lost. That's why 300,000 had to be paid. And you put me through stress for 2 or 3 years before the case was settled. So now you owe me, you know, 100 grand or whatever the number is. And that's gonna cause a lot more problems. I see it very unusual that the insurance company will sue you. And it's also easier to find and find mistakes they might have made in their case, where your defense counsel could say, okay, insurance, you want to sue us for 300? You lost because you were incompetent. And a lot of times what they say, you're suing my insured for the money that you lost and had to pay out to this person. But the reason why you had to pay Joe Smo 300,000 is because you hired the wrong attorney, an attorney that was incompetent to defend him in the first place. And that's why he lost. So there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of things they can do to get you out of the situation. So I strongly recommend that. Now, in terms of mediation, when you go to the mediation and you're in there in the room, you're negotiating, just try to stay quiet. Like I said, you're gonna get emotional, you're gonna wanna plead your case, you're gonna wanna explain why this is all fake. It's best not to say anything. I use something called Bach flower remedy. It's called Rescue Remedy. I totally recommend it. You put a drop, it's for vibrational therapy. It's very good, it helps relax you. Just chill out, take a chill pill, go in there, listen to everything, take notes, get information so you can be ready to negotiate or whatever you need to do. And at the end of the day, if you really need to, you could kick in something if you know that you're really, really on the hook and you did everything wrong. That's up to you. You figure out how much you want to pay or if you want to pay at all. But I know now I've learned a lot of times people don't kick in anything. It's just really easy. There's a lot of wiggle room to get out of those lawsuits if you're the insured. It's unlikely your insurance is going to sue you. So just go to those meetings, answer to the judge, always be respectful to the insurance agents and attorneys. Always be super cool with everybody. Remember, these are all people. So if you come off like a jerk, they're not going to want to come up to bat for you. You want to be cool. Say, be a nice person, be polite, be appreciative. Say, hey, thank you for coming here to help me today. Thank you for helping me with this case. I really appreciate it. Always show gratitude. Gratitude never goes out of style. Be polite. Even when you don't agree with them, just listen and just agree to disagree in your mind. Don't get into arguments or nothing, especially with the people that are there to help you. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, please comment below and I'm happy to answer your questions. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Goodbye.